Tonight, Barnstaple, we're just literally going to go out on patrol around the town and just get an idea of numbers in the clubs and the pubs and that sort of thing. See how many people are about and see what the mood is.
How long have you guys been working in Barnstaple then?
I've just had my anniversary. I've been in Barnstaple on response for 5 years last week.
And I started my police training a year ago this week. I did 6 months up in Exeter, and then I've been in Barnstaple for 6 months on the street as well, so I'm pretty new.
You can normally gauge the atmosphere when you go out quite quickly, and it can be good or bad, and a lot depends on the sort of mixture of people that are around. There seems to be a good mixture tonight, so hopefully we'll be in for quite a nice night. But generally on a Saturday night, the radio will be our guide. Before very long, I would think calls will start coming in.
Before too long, we had our first pull. A driver who appeared to be following cars at a dangerous distance.
He's just talking about the manner of his driving at the moment. While he's doing that, he'll trying to sort of have a sniff if he's got any alcohol in his breath. While he's doing that, basically to require a breath test, we can't just stop people and ask them for a breath test. You've got to either commit a moving traffic offence or it be an accident, or we've got to suspect it. So you can't just sort of say, oh, breathalyse. So he's probably asking him, well, see if there's any alcohol in his breath and stuff, and just giving him some words of advice about his driving.
I basically said to him, I can't help but notice that you're driving very, very close to everyone tonight, which in a Mini isn't necessarily the best way, is it? And he's all apologies, explained that he lives down here, which obviously we've checked that prior to pulling him, and he does. And he's been on a 14-hour shift as a mechanical engineer. He's covered in oil and stuff, and just wants to go home.
After a quiet start, the team were called to report of a large fight in Bideford, and before I knew it, we were flying down the Atlantic Highway at 110 miles per hour.
It's kicked off in Bideford. There's a big pub fight going on. However, there's no Bideford units. They're already tied up with arrests from earlier. So ourselves and Torrington and ourselves are going out now. As it's progressed, as we've come over, the groups have separated and gone their separate ways, which can mean one of two things. Either someone's been beaten up and left to get on with it, or they know we're coming and they've run off.
See how confusing everything is when we get sent to a job. It's just trying to find out what's happened and what everyone's problem is easier said than done.
The situation was dealt with by Bideford officers, but before too long we were back over Torridge side.
There's been a break at the Woodard surgery in Easter Water, and the police have turned up, and the dogs pretty much got a track straight away going across towards the Tarka Trail. Reports suggest that some drugs have been stolen from there as well, so still lots of information coming through, and obviously the helicopter will be with us shortly, so they'll be able to see a lot more than what we can.
There's a helicopter circling above us, which I believe is called 93, and that's come up from Exeter. We believe there's someone hiding somewhere on the Tarka Trail, possibly on a bicycle, who has stolen drugs from a chemist in Bideford. They're using their cameras to see if they can locate him, and if they do, they'll let us know on the ground, and then we can hopefully go and find them.
We've got half good news at the moment. The drugs that have been stolen, we've got an inventory of what there was, and it ties up exactly with what we found on the Tarka Trail. It's obviously been ditched by whoever's done this. So as a result, they have wasted their efforts. We've got no suspects or anyone in custody yet, but at least we have retrieved the property.
Graham and Andrew, under helicopter directions, searched a playfield near the Polyfield Centre, but did not locate a suspect. We headed back to Barnstaple on a routine patrol.
We tend to, I know we sort of drive around the block numerous times, which seems a bit monotonous, but the public aren't clocking our number plates. They're basically looking and seeing police cars driving around, and they're happy with that. If we can get a car through the town centre every sort of 5 to 6 minutes, and a van as well, if there is plenty of us, all the better. If there's not, if we just drive around in circles, it creates the impression there is more of us. So we're a visible deterrent, and if there is any problems, we may well see it as we go through.
Reports soon came in of a post-nightclub fight at a local takeaway.
30 code 6.
30, roger.
The guys have just come out of the car because we had to turn around quite quickly because we just passed the bar and takeaway, and things had escalated from what looked to me like sort of play fighting with a load of lads outside. Had escalated to something that looked to be quite quite big and quite serious. But having arrived on the scene, it seems that things have been deflated, and the several police units are dealing with it now.
Seemed to be an altercation between Bideford boys and Barnstaple boys. And the Bideford boys always start it, they said. So, but now they've all gone on their way.
Not for long, as it turns out, and just minutes later we are called to a location just up the road where the two groups continued their altercation.
I'll get in here, mate.
Go, alright, go over to the van, yeah? Who's done it?
That fucking prick of me, stabbed me.
Has he got a knife or anything?
Yeah.
Right.
We're in a circle stretch.
Right, so just chill out, right? I know you're obviously a bit up in the air in a minute, alright? Obviously, the lads that you're seeing. Yeah, no, I know that, alright? Got an ambulance en route, alright? So just stay with me, alright? We've got the lads that we think have done it. Your mates have seen it as well, haven't they? Yeah. Alright, your mates.
I spoke to you, and I walked up here to go home that way.
Yeah, yeah.
And they all come out of there.
On our arrival, as you saw, they'd stopped fighting. One of them, the guy that's in the ambulance at the moment, has got a very small cut on his head that when we initially arrived, he told us he'd been stabbed. He's since decided that's not the case. Certainly the injury doesn't suggest he's been stabbed, and all the people that were in the other group have been searched. No weapon or anything like that, and no further mention from any party of a knife or any other article that could be used for that. All parties say that they're normally friends and they normally know each other. It's a birthday party that's got a bit pear-shaped, and none of them wish to come forward with any complaints or anything. Ambulance have cleared him and said he's fine, and he's going to go back to a friend's house in a minute and sleep it off.
Our night ended at 4:30 a.m. in Braunton, searching for a suspected burglar. After leaving the hunt in the hands of the police dogs unit, we returned to Barnstaple.
The time now is 4:30 in the morning. It's Sunday morning at last, and that was a typical Saturday night shift. To be fair, I thought it would be busier than that. We've had quite a lot of people in town tonight, obviously out drinking and enjoying themselves. Kicking out time was the normal numbers we'd expect, a great deal of people out, but the weather hasn't helped. It's been dry, and that keeps them out. That said, we haven't had any major problems, fortunately.
And so what will you be doing now?
Honestly, now we're going to have a quick caffeine fix and something to eat, and then we shall deal with any paperwork that we've generated earlier on, which isn't a lot tonight, fortunately. And we'll get back out on patrol as soon as we can and keep an eye on things while the sun comes up.